Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Steph, and for this practice we're going to do an introduction to yoga. So this class is designed for anybody who's brand new to yoga. Maybe you've never done yoga before, or maybe you've done it just a couple times and you want to become a little bit more familiar with the practice. So we're just going to go really slow today, take it really easy, and the intention is for you just to get connected to your body. It's important to know with yoga that there's no right or wrong way to ever do yoga. It's not about what you look like at all. So what you want to focus on is just connecting to your breath and connecting to your body, and don't worry about what you look like at all. So we're going to start off this class in a seated position. So just find a comfortable cross-legged position. If you want to prop yourself up on maybe a blanket or pillows, or if you have a block at home, you can do that. What we want to avoid is just the rounding through the spine. So if you're finding that's happening, just prop yourself up and sit nice and tall. So take your hands to your knees, and we're just going to do seated cat-cow. So on an inhale, roll your shoulders back, send your heart up and take your gaze up. On an exhale, round your spine, straighten out your arms and lean back. Use an inhale to come forward, draw your shoulders back and open, lift your gaze, and then exhale, curl your spine, chin to chest, lean back. Inhale, come forward, broaden through the front of your heart, and exhale, curl back. And do that one more time just with your own breath. And slowly come through to center, finding a neutral spine. Plant your left fingertips nice and wide and sweep your right arm up and over. So stretching really wide throughout your right rib cage, and send your right sit bone down. Use an inhale to slowly come through to center. Plant your right fingertips wide, sweep your left arm up and over. And keep your right shoulder down and away from your ear. And breathe deeply into your left rib cage. And inhale, slowly come back through to center. Take your right hand to your left knee and your left fingertips behind you. Take an inhale, lift out of your pelvis, and on an exhale, twist gently over towards the left. Now, a good rule of thumb here is to keep the chin and the chest aligned so you don't strain your neck. Think about getting really long through both sides of your waist. On your next inhale, slowly come through to center. Switch sides. So it's an inhale first, and then it's an exhale to twist. And you want to think about the twist coming from right behind the heart, not at the hips at all. So we want to really tap into the spine here and just keep your shoulders nice and soft. And on an inhale, slowly come through to center. Bring the soles of your feet together and your knees nice and wide. And your heels can be anywhere that feels best for you, so you may want to bring them in really close. You may want to take them a little bit further away. It's just whatever feels best in your body. You're going to either have your fingertips alongside your hips there and inhale, stay upright if this is enough for you, or on an exhale, you start to hinge forward. You can take your hands towards your toes, or you can just reach your fingertips nice and wide there and relax your head down. And just starting to breathe really deeply, expanding your lungs. And just connecting to your breath, which really is the priority with our yoga practice. It's about finding that connection with breath and movement. And using our breath and our body to provoke a certain sort of quality or emotion. So using our breath and body and using this practice to relax when we need to relax, or to feel more energized when we need to be energized. So really remember that this practice is yours. You do what you want with it. Just make sure that you feel good every time you step onto your mat. That doesn't mean that the practice is always going to be easy. Sometimes it's really hard, but making sure that you feel good in the process. Inhale, slowly start to come on up. And you can just cross at your ankles there and roll over your feet and make your way onto all fours for table pose. You can grab any padding underneath your knees or your wrists if you need to. Spread your fingers nice and wide and make sure that your shoulders and your wrists are stacked and your knees and your hips are stacked. And we're gonna do cat-cow. So inhale, lift your chin, chest, tailbone up. Exhale, round through your spine. Inhale, open up, broaden, take your gaze up. And exhale, curl through your spine, bring your chin towards your chest, gaze to your belly button. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, curl it in. And inhale, come through to a neutral spine, so just finding the natural curves of your back. We're just gonna tap into the core a little bit. So think of sending your right leg back, keeping your leg nice and straight and your foot flexed. And you can just shift your weight over into your right hand and just pop up onto your left fingertips. This is option 1. If you want to go a little bit deeper, reach your left arm forward, palm spins in. And now what we want to avoid is like a collapse through the spine. We want to stay nice and strong through the spine. Even think of tucking your tailbone a little bit and pull your belly up. Take a big breath in. And a long breath out. Inhale. And exhale, come back down to all fours. Extend your left leg back behind you. Straighten behind your knee if you can. Flex your foot. Shift your weight over to your left hand. Either just come up to your right fingertips, stay here, or reach your right arm forward. Keep your gaze down so the back of your neck stays nice and long, and make sure you're not collecting any unnecessary tension. Maybe you're clenching your left fingers or clenching your jaw, and see if you can just soften that. Take a full breath in, a long breath out, and slowly lower back onto all fours. And we'll take child's pose. So take your knees nice and wide, and then just sink back onto your heels. Relax yourself down onto your mat. So relaxing your forearms and your forehead. And this is my all-time favorite pose. You're welcome to come back here at any point during your practice. Doesn't matter if you're practicing at home or at a studio. This is a safe space for you to come and just rest. And just start to slow down your breath. Letting your body relax a little bit more and soften. Finding this lovely ease in your body. Slowly come on up to all fours. Tuck your toes underneath you, press into your hands, lift your hips up and back and come into downward facing dog. So have a nice generous bend through your knees here, and think of sending your sit bones or your tailbone up. Now your heels don't need to touch the ground. They might not ever touch the ground, and that is absolutely fine. That is not the point of the pose. Spread your fingers wide and press your hands down and forwards to bring your chest a little bit closer towards your thighs. And just breathe really deeply. And eventually, this is so annoying to hear, eventually this will become a resting pose, but right now it might not feel that restful. So that's absolutely fine. We won't stay here for too much longer, but just start to find a nice stretch through the back of your body. And you can bend one knee at a time just to get into the hamstrings a little bit better there. Just doing what feels really good for you. Now lift your gaze between your thumbs and start to tippy toe your way forward. Just really slowly start to walk to the top of your mat and come into a forward fold. Feet are hip width and parallel. So you can take 2 fist widths distance between your feet. That's a good measure for hip width. And then just grab opposite elbows and let your upper body totally hang. So let your head hang heavy like a dead weight. And again, just have a nice bend through your knees here. What we want to avoid is straightening out the legs and then rounding from the spine. We want to have a nice bend through the knees, and then instead you can send your sit bones up and the crown of your head goes down. And relax your fingertips down towards the ground. Take an inhale, halfway lift, find a nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold.
Press into your feet, pull your belly button towards your spine, and really slowly start to ragdoll yourself all the way up, stacking one bone on top of the other, slowly, slowly, slowly. When you're all the way up, inhale, reach your arms up for a big breath, and exhale, bring your hands through to heart center. Inhale, sweep your arms up, lift your gaze. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees. Inhale, halfway lift, find a long spine. Exhale, plant your hands and step your right foot back. Lower your knee down towards the ground. And just take your hands up to your thighs here. So this is our low lunge or Vinyasa pose. So think of, it's like you want to hug your knees in towards one another, and you'll start to feel a firming behind your left thigh. So we get the leg muscles nice and strong, and then you can send your hips forward and down. Make sure that your knee and your ankle are staying stacked and that your knee isn't going way over your ankle. You want to keep your joints nice and stacked here. And now roll your shoulders back and open, lift out of your pelvis, and then reach your arms up towards the ceiling, keeping your shoulders nice and soft. We'll take one breath here. Then exhale, plant your hands down to frame your left foot. And then just simply pull your hips back and straighten out your left leg. You can have a big bend through your knee here, that's absolutely fine. If you've got blocks or books or something close by, you can even bring your hands up to your imaginary blocks there, and then flex your toes towards you. Keep a little bit of a bend through your left knee and just breathe deeply into the back of your left leg. On an inhale, start to crawl forward, bend your left knee. Plant your left hand nice and wide, and you want to just angle your hand a little bit. Start to shift your weight over into your right hand, roll open towards the left, and reach your left arm up. And now think of drawing your shoulder blades together on your back body and opening up through the front of your heart. Take a full breath in. And exhale, come through to center. Plant your hands down to frame your foot. Look forward and step your right foot forward. Come into your forward fold. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Press into your feet, pull belly to spine, and ragdoll yourself all the way up, having a nice bend through the knees there. And stand nice and tall. Spin your palms forward. This is called Tadasana. On an inhale, sweep your arms up for a big breath. Exhale, forward fold, softening your knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands and step your left foot back. Lower your knee to the ground and just take your hands up to your thighs. So remember, we want to get nice and strong by squeezing the knees in towards one another and engaging the back of your right leg. Then you know it's safe to sink your hips forward and down. So we always stabilize before we mobilize to make sure we're staying nice and safe through the joints. When you're feeling good and balanced here, you're welcome to reach your arms up towards the ceiling and keep your shoulders nice and soft. Spread your fingers wide and think of inward spiraling your pinkies. Take one more big breath in. To exhale, plant your hands down to frame your right foot. And then just simply pull your hips back and straighten out this right leg. Keep a little bit of a bend through the knee there, and then flex your toes in towards you. Think more so about sending your heart forward opposed to sending your heart down. So we're not rounding through the spine here. We're getting along through the sides of the waist. And then just breathe really deeply into the back of your right leg. So using our breath to encourage the muscles to expand and open and create space. And inhale, slowly crawl your hands forward, bend your right knee. Plant your left hand nice and wide, twist open towards the right, reach your right arm up. And find a nice opening through the front of your heart as you spiral your heart upwards. Now still think of sending your hips forward and down. Take one more big breath in. Exhale, come through to center. Plant your hands down to frame your right foot. Look forward, and then just step your left foot forward. Bow in for your forward fold. Take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Press into your feet. Let your arms dangle and really slowly, slowly start to stand all the way up. Back into your mountain pose, your Tadasana pose, spinning your arms or your palms forward. Take your hands to your low back, fingertips point down. Get really stable through your legs by pressing your feet down. We're going to come into some back bends here. So what we want to be conscious of is not bending from the lumbar spine, the low back. So we don't want to send the hips forward and curve from the low back. Rather, we want to bend from our thoracic spine. So right at your bra strap area there, right behind the heart. So take your hands to your low back, fingertips point down, and then think of drawing your elbows in towards one another. Take an inhale, lift out of your pelvis, and then exhale, slowly come back. Doesn't need to be a big back bend at all for this to feel really good. But you want to stay grounded through your feet and send your hips forward ever so slightly. Broaden through the front of your heart. Take one more big breath in and slowly come through to center. We're going to do that again, but this time, if you like, you can flip your fingertips to face up, changing things a little bit, or just keep your fingertips facing down. So again, get strong through the legs. Inhale, lift out of your pelvis, and then exhale, curl back. And maybe you'll go a little bit deeper this time, but you certainly don't have to. Remember, just do what feels good in your body. On an inhale, slowly come back up. This time, release your hands from your low back. Interlace your hands behind your low back. Roll your shoulders back and open. Inhale, lengthen the sides of your waist, and then exhale, open up. So just be cautious not to throw your head way back here. We want to keep integrity through the neck muscles. So I like to take my gaze even slightly forward a little bit. Keep rolling your shoulders back and open. Open up through the front of your chest. On your next inhale, slowly come through to center. Gently release back into your Tadasana pose. And let's just take a big breath in together through the nose. Exhale out a sigh. Bend your elbows, cactus your arms. Pull belly to spine. Take an inhale. On an exhale, gently twist towards the right. So the twist isn't coming from the hips. The twist is coming from mid-spine. So keep your hip bones facing forward. On an inhale, come through to center. Exhale, go to the left. Inhale, come through to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back to a high plank and then lower onto your knees. Take yourself back into your child's pose. Relax your forehead down towards the ground. Lift your gaze, walk your hands back so you're in a seated position at the back of your mat. And then just make your way onto your bum. Swing your legs around in front of you. You can scoot yourself forward on your mat a little bit if you need to. Just grab behind your thighs there and then engage through the belly to safely take yourself all the way down. So coming down onto your back, you can just hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. And then lower your feet down towards the ground. Cross your left ankle over top of your right thigh and keep this left foot flexed. Simply stay here, or you can pick up your right foot and grab behind your right thigh. For those of you that are feeling a little bit more open today, you may want to catch the front of your shin there. Just make sure that you're not like rolling your low back off of the earth. You want to keep your tailbone anchored down. This is a nice place to just close down your eyes and focus in on your breath. Lower your right foot down, step your left foot down, switch sides. So remember, option one is to stay here.
Option 2, grab behind your thigh. Option 3, grab the front of your shin. So whatever feels best for you, and know that each side is going to feel completely different, so try not to compare sides. And just notice the stretch in your body, wherever it may arise, most likely your outer right hip or your glute muscles, and then just visualize breathing into that space, which is a really weird concept. I struggled with that when I first started yoga. I didn't know what that meant. But all you need to think about is just sending your breath into that area. Just visualize the inhales and the exhales going to this area of your body and creating space, creating expansion. And lower your left foot down towards the ground. Step your right foot down. Walk your feet together so they're side by side. Extend your arms nice and wide in a T shape and take both of your knees over towards the right. Keep your gaze neutral or take your gaze over towards the left, just whatever feels best on your neck. And there's no need to effort anything here. We want this to be really passive, just finding the natural twist through your spine. And on an exhale, slowly bring your legs back through to center. And then lower your knees over towards the left, maybe taking your gaze to the right. Just let your arm bones drop nice and heavy. Let the muscles in your face relax. Let your jaw relax. Exhale, slowly bring your legs back through to center. And now we're going to come into Savasana, which is another one of my favorite poses. This is called corpse pose. This is done at the end of every yoga class, and this is just our final resting pose. So straighten out your legs, take your feet and your arms nice and wide, and close down your eyes. And so it's said that this is the most difficult pose in yoga. And what we want to get to is a state of total stillness, where the mind isn't racing or wandering, where we can just be totally present with our body. And so just let yourself completely relax, and dropping into this space of total stillness and calm. And so let everything go. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Together, let's take a big breath in through the nose. Exhale out a sigh. You can start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. If it feels nice, stretch your arms overhead, or maybe rock your head from side to side. And slowly roll over to whichever side you wish into a fetal position, and just take a moment here
to let everything settle and absorb. Keeping your eyes closed, gently press yourself up to a comfortable seated position at the top of your mat. You can just bring your hands together at heart center. And just take a moment to thank yourself for engaging in this practice, for taking the time to connect to you. And thank your beautiful body for being healthy enough and strong enough to guide you through this practice. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to practice with you soon. Namaste.